just need to say at this moment, I have been victim, like so much times I said, which is the truth, of this land, which has the name of Argentina, for a lifetime. My 5 years old, I have been suffering with not the conscience or the clear fact of understanding this were so. A very unnumerating, for the best term at the Mexican to say, which is numerum word in this Katsari language. That refers to the impossible to measure as so deep of the enormous mass of disasters and destruction in the term to say. The realities of my life were exactly permanently prohibited for the Masonry which associated to the world, naming me as the person I am, which permanently were causing disasters of my life, and the breed of the ones that I call hell animal were with them daddies and mommies making the job for since so youth I had, while the primary of mine, they will ever be me and will trespass to them my life, so they will be me and I wouldn't exist. At this day keeps on making the same class of thanks and determinately for Ejército Argentino, Fuerzas Armadas Argentinas, Kirchner, Poder Judicial de la Nación, Evangelistas Unidos and others, that there's someone else will take my place inside my address, taking my documentation and saying that they will ever have rights to be. And I will be just the piece of the science of the Sodoma y Gomorra Argentina, for they will ever try to discover spelling Hestel, Sykes a plus baron, Helek a bravera, abominable hell animal, to saying that they will have rights to taking me and selling whatever they want, saying that they will demand command. The reality of the pejorativizing whatever the terminologies or identifications is nothing but the describing exactly what they behaves and for words at the making to my person and to my people, and the reality of the soul is exactly tacit at the meanings and the realities further what as non-proper terminologies or swearing or whatever unqualifiable for the reality of the name of El Chai, mine, and especially for the reality of the royalty that he put it as instaurated and the names of the honorables we were working fighting as this citizens, this problem as we called Armageddon. Further any other, this is exactly the reality of our days, and I don't have no much else but dealing with the situations until justice and orders to be established at the reality immediately at my person, which still I suffer in this land at this May month, this Tuesday, 31st, 2016, in this Buenos Aires city, that I am at this San Martin Avenue place, besieged still but this sickness, which presumes to be state and government, making abominations all over, forgeries and making up in a glass of, pretended of, stamped and registered of Policía Federal Argentina they will command, at the whatever less humanity mobile element for path, producing with a facade of state of Argentina, government of Argentina, registers of the supposed official character of a government, for the making less humanity at the abominablest ever, disgusting ever sickness, presuming to having rights and presuming to being the government, the homeland, the authority, and the government of the whatever to responsible character, right to taking above and without and with whatever element to be, they will making be whatever because of they will command. The reality of the state delivers to me and to us into suffers that I never imagined, but the clear fact of everyone is exactly what we are through. I am the person that I published in the 3 accounts on the identities which were given to me. The first ever Alejandro Mario Blanco recognized Redemi from my mother's last name. The second, Elishel Elie Blanco Redemi, from the state of Israel, because if I am a Jew person and I am royal, I am a royal person for the state of Israel, and I am Eliyah, not a witness, the judge brought from El Jai himself, which is not delusional, no megalomania. My genetics is being a market in this disgusting land, but this sickness which still proceeds about the making beseeching and bestly gamma remasecham every time as ever can for the reason of what they demand and says has rights for the making the child. At the fact of the harassment criminally with a badge and whatever the excuse for the crime organized this all are, but for so few the reality of these days at my third ID cave, and I'm sorry, Alexa Blank by the state of U.S. with Mr. President Barack Obama, Mr. Vice President Joe Biden, and what it is the Supreme Court of Justice of United States of America with LIAISON office New York is the element for the making less humanity for this, with also my fourth, which each as states parties wanted to giving me for the mention of what it is a local reality as they considered me home. State of Russia and much others. With this fourth ID by the state of Russia, Alenko Blasko, which is the meaning of Macedonians and Russian in Dosminian, Daspar Basbotret Isparam, which is Belarus. The reality of my stay at Sika, Brefas Vatican, BrefOnsove, Kles Mastei Vas Incombrev and Bref Spokret Vesperave. And the clear fact of my days at this land, kidnapped, which still less humanity with a very mess of abominables, playing the superiority by a culture of masonry, witchcraft, and abominables and crime, which are organized criminals at the level of the elemental abomination, which no one takes off and won't be forgiven. Reality for this soul, I keep on struggles and awaiting for justice to be established at my immediate and begging for the people I want to putting at the safe, and also the family that I were birthed in. So 7 in the middle of the soul, I have the risk as daily and no one stops in whatever I do is element from profanation, forgery, making falsified documentation at whatever the cost with any class of a figure, whatever the invention for the making less humanity, spelling Sodom and Gomorrah, which is exactly with Evangelistas Unidos Argentinos, I suffer daily. And they are willing and volunteering also. Now, Bleves Pag Lechini, Bleves Pohor, Halbis Pot Lekim, Mahavet Sartin, Bleves Berev, Halbis Shoa, Bleves Sosli, Bleves Nat Lechanam. Slekir Bareves Pohol, Vespertika, Mareves Pekuat, Selachel, Sepleki, Rosh, Edabachba, Anaskemot, Reshali, Baslefat, Atsecholam. I am so really suffering the terms. I am suffering the violence. I am suffering the destruction. I am suffering the pain of my people and mine. And I am suffering health states that doesn't imply AIDS. But a permanent damaging and denigrating me and profaning me with technology, rough technology, to commercializing my DNA.